Mr. Rogers deserves every prestigious award you can throw his way, but not getting nominated. Anybody listen to the score in First Man? Did anyone get a chance to hear how you're telling me Timothy Chalamet does not deserve an Oscar nomination? It's the most wonderful time of the year.
This is one of my favorite documentaries. What is up, Flick fans, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking Oscar nominations for the 2019 calendar year, but covering the movies from 2018. I am so excited to do this video. I wanted to do a live reaction, but sometimes you have a full-time job and you have to work, and that's exactly where I was, sitting there watching the Oscar nominations with my headphones on and reacting very quietly at my desk going, oh, what? Okay. It was quite the experience, but I did have time to write everything out, get my thoughts down on paper, and have a chance to tell you guys how I feel. Finally, this is our space to talk about all of the nominations, the reactions, and most importantly, the predictions to what you guys think is going to happen at the actual award ceremony. Today, I will be giving you guys my predictions for each individual category. We're going to talk snubs, we're going to talk surprises, all of those things are coming, but what I want to start with is who I think is going to win in each category. And like I did with the Golden Globes, I'm going to split this up in two different categories. Who I want to win, and then who I think is going to win. Some of them will be the same option, and then others I will have two different people in each category. Now, I want you guys to get down in the comments section below. For each one of these, this is all personal opinion. No one really knows what's going to happen, and no one really is right or wrong. So sharing your all's opinion in the comments section below, I believe, is important because everyone feels differently about every situation, and I love the fact that we have a space on YouTube to talk about it, to hash things out, if you will. And this is my chance to tell you guys how I feel, just personally. So we start with the very first category. Oh, and I need to let you guys know right now, some of these categories I'm going to omit, so I'm not going to talk about them. Those categories are Best Animated Short, Best Live Action Short, Best Documentary Short, Best Foreign Language Film, and Best Documentary. And the only reason I'm not hitting on those in their entirety is because I've not seen all of or most of the films in those categories, so I really have no right to talk about them. Yes, I want Won't You Be My Neighbor to win Best Documentary, even though it wasn't nominated. And yes, I'm rooting for Roma in foreign language film, but I don't have a right to judge because I haven't watched all of those movies. So we start in order of how they announced them with the ones that I watched, and we start with Best Supporting Actress. And out of all of these incredible women listed, I have one that I do believe stands above the rest, and it's so funny because I go back to my Golden Globes video and I picked completely different people because I hadn't seen If Beale Street Could Talk, and for this category, I want Regina King to win, and I believe Regina King is going to take it. Same pick for both categories. I just think she is so good in this movie. The film, I don't think got the love that it deserved, and I love the fact that I'm almost 100% sure that it has an award already in its pocket because of how incredibly nuanced and wonderful and the emotion that Regina King showed in this film. It's all there. She was so good, and I can't wait for her to take this award home because I do believe she's going to take this award. Next up is costume design. Now, this one is a bit tougher for me, but I have to go with the favorite in both categories. I think it should win. I think it will win. Very close behind it is Mary, Queen of Scots. It felt like you were in that time period. Yes, the cinematography and the directing, all of that was really good, but the costume design is something that not a lot of people talked about, and I believe it was phenomenal in that film. I think the favorite takes this one home. Then we come to sound mixing, and listen, I understand if you get sound mixing and sound editing confused, so I'm going to give you guys just a quick, what is this, what does it entail? So the sound mixer tweaks the levels on every audio file. It's a very tedious but crucial process, and it literally affects everything that you hear, including the dialogue, the sound effects, the Foley effects, and even the score. The sound editor involves more than one person most of the time, and there are so many roles involved with finding and recording and picking the right sounds. The sound editor will choose the right sound effects, dialogue, ADR, Foley effects, and music, and assemble all of the pieces into the film's final cut. So that was sound editing, but first, I find all of the nominees very good choices, but I have to go with, in both categories, once again, I promise it's not going to be the same for all of them, but I think First Man should win it, and I think First Man takes it. I truly believe First Man was a technical achievement in filmmaking, regardless of what you feel about the plot, the story, and the length of the movie. I really liked all of those things, but one thing that I really loved are the technical aspects of the film, and I think First Man takes this. And we move on to sound editing. Now, this category is a bit differently for me. I do think First Man is going to take it. I think it takes both of the sound awards. It does deserve them in a way, but in this category, we have a little movie by the name of A Quiet Place nominated, and A Quiet Place is the best use of sound I have seen in years. I mean, as long as I can truly remember, this film is remarkable with what it does with sound. And while I don't think it will win, because I believe this is its lone nomination, which is so devastatingly sad to me, I want it to win. I want First Man to take sound mixing, but for sound editing, I think A Quiet Place deserves it, even though I don't see it taking that award. I think it'll go to First Man. Next up is Best Original Score, and we will get into the major snub of this category a bit later. My goodness, was that horrible. But if we're talking about the movies that are nominated right now, I think If Beale Street Could Talk had a phenomenal score, and that is the movie that I'm pulling for in this category. And truly, I think that's the movie that takes it. If Beale Street Could Talk, while it wasn't nominated in the big one. I got some of these side nominations, and the score for me is what really just moved me emotionally. Yes, the dialogue was great, and yes, the two characters' chemistry was fantastic, but that score, I can still just hum that in my head to this day and get really happy because of how happy it made me. And If Beale Street Could Talk had one of the more memorable scores of the year. Also, shout out to Black Panther's score, because I do believe that's one of the better scores in the MCU, and I'm glad to see that that got some recognition. This was really tough for me. I actually don't have anything written down because I was going to do it on the spot, and here we are, and I still don't really have a choice. I am stuck between Black Klansman and The Favorite, and I think I'm going to go with who I want to win. I think I'm going to choose The Favorite, and who I think is going to win, I think I'm also going to choose The Favorite. When it comes to a movie that I don't think should be nominated in this category, I thought Vice was a little messy. I don't know why it's nominated for film editing when I found the editing to be the weakest part, but that's just me. Who cares? I think The Favorite takes this. Film editing is a big category for me because I love editing. I love sitting and editing my videos. I love the process behind it, and I just think The Favorite was handled so meticulously and crafted so well, and it flowed so well because of, in big part, the editing. So I think that's what's going to take it, but Black Klansman did a great job as well. Supporting actor, listen, Mahershala Ali, he's my man. I think he takes it. I want him to take it. Anything you can think of, I want him to accomplish because I just love the guy. He was so good in Green Book. You could argue that he was the lead, but this is supporting, and Mahershala Ali, he's the man. Production design. I think this one goes to Roma. I believe Roma is going to win this category. If I had to choose, I'm going to go with First Man because of how incredible they made that moon landing sequence look. Just the entire way they went about filming the NASA scenes, whether it's the training or the complex that they were at, all of that looked incredible, but it's really that moon landing sequence, how they kind of built that to look, and of course a lot of special effects, absolutely. But if we're talking about production design and how it impacted the story, First Man wins in my heart, but I think Roma takes it. Visual effects. Who do I want to win this category? Come on, Avengers, it's its only nomination. Do you think I'm not going to be pulling for that movie considering how much I love Infinity War? I think it should take this category, although I do believe the Academy is going to give this to First Man because it just feels like more of an Oscar movie to me, even though it got snubbed for a lot of things in my opinion. It just feels like it's going to take this award over a movie like Ready Player One or Avengers or Solo or whatever it is. And I still love the visuals in First Man, but Thanos and Avengers, come on, man, that looked so real. I just realized I skipped over cinematography, so let's talk about that, and this is a toughie for me because I love the cinematography in The Favorite, but for me, Roma is a movie based around how beautiful it is on a technical level and really on a story level, but the cinematography in that film, for me, is what made it what it is, so I have to pull for Roma, and I do believe it's going to win as well, so I have Roma in both categories with The Favorite not far behind it. Makeup and hairstyling, this one is pretty easy for me. Christian Bale in Vice, it is beyond incredible what they did with him, what they did with Amy Adams to make her look like her, and even though Steve Carell didn't really favor who he was portraying, I still think they did a great job of not making him look like Steve Carell, so that's good. Vice takes makeup and hairstyling for me. That is one thing about that movie that I absolutely loved. Animated feature, at this point, I'm still deep down in my heart scared to say Into the Spider-Verse, because you know I want that to win. It was my third favorite movie of the year. It might even move up because I watched it again and I'm like, I might like this movie a bit more than I did the first time, but Into the Spider-Verse I think will win. It still scares me to say that though, because they love Disney and they love Pixar films, so Incredibles 2 might sneak up and take it, and I enjoyed Incredibles 2 a lot, but Into the Spider-Verse just another level. The song, shallow, I mean, do I have to explain it? Now let's move on. Best Adapted Screenplay. I think this goes to BlacKkKlansman. I think Spike Lee finally gets his due and gets this award. Not to say he doesn't deserve the award, because I think BlacKkKlansman is an incredible screenplay. It's one of the highlights of the film, but if I'm choosing personally, I want A Star is Born to take it. It is my highest movie on that list, yes, but what Bradley Cooper did, taking a story that we have seen many times before and reshaping it, remolding it, and giving it a new heart, I just find that super impressive, so I will be pulling for that. Best Original Screenplay? Once again, and I hate to keep doing this, but Roma and Roma. I think Roma should take it. I think Roma takes it. Roma is just one of those movies all around on a filmmaking perspective. Even if you thought the movie was the most boring thing you've ever seen in your life, from a technical and filmmaking perspective, you have to appreciate this film, what it did. And I do believe the screenplay was just ridiculously heartfelt and full of incredible dialogue. That's what a screenplay needs to do, and that's why I think it wins this category. All right, the biggies. We have reached the major categories. We are talking leading actor, and I'm torn between three. I'm torn between Rami Malek, Christian Bale, and Bradley Cooper. I would have told you Bradley Cooper doesn't have a chance, but the fact that he did not get nominated for Best Director kind of tells me he may, even though I don't think it should be a sympathy vote, he might get the sympathy vote. Christian Bale embodied someone that people in real life hate, but they love the way that they portrayed him on screen, and he really did disappear into the role. Rami Malek is transformed into Freddie Mercury, and regardless of what you think about that film, you have to admit, he was really good in the movie, and I do believe without Rami Malek, that movie would not have worked, and because of that, I have to barely, over those other two, I have to give it to Rami Malek. I think I want him to win. I think he takes it, but this is something, guys, this could change tomorrow because I think that race is so close. Closer than other people think. I think a lot of people think this is a two-man race. I'm going to say it's a three-man race. We will never really know, but Rami Malek, barely my number one. Then we come to leading actress. I think Glenn Close takes this. I just think everything we are seeing right now, never winning an Oscar before as an actress, being nominated so many times and not coming away with it, this is going to be her Lifetime Achievement Award, yes, but I do believe she is going to win this because she deserves it, even though this is my chance to admit this. I still haven't seen The Wife. It's really the only movie out of everything I've talked about that I've not seen yet, and I've not seen it, so there you go. Just the way everything's leaning, I think she takes it. Who do I want to win since I've not seen Glenn Close? I really enjoyed Lady Gaga and A Star is Born, but I'm going to give it to Olivia Colman on who I want to win. She was so good in The Favorite. I think without her in that role, I would not enjoy the movie near as much, and that's really saying something. Surrounded by great performances, but for me, she stole the film. I hate to spend such a short time on the directing category, but for me, it's a runaway thing here. Alfonso Cuarón is going to take this, I do believe, and I believe he deserves it. This is a directing showcase. What Roma is, it's a movie where he gets to showcase his talents. He is the star, if you will, even though there were two people nominated from that film, which shocked me as well. But I have to give this to Cuarón. I would consider this a lock. I think he's going to take this with Yorgos Lanthimos not far behind because he did a great job with The Favorite, but Cuarón, yeah. And the big category is here, the behemoth, if you will. This is the Best Picture nominations, and I will be putting out my video closer to the Oscars probably that weekend of myself ranking all of those movies from my least favorite to my most favorite. But right now, at this moment, I have to predict who I think will win and who I want to win. Out of Black Panther, Green Book, The Favorite, Vice, Bohemian Rhapsody, Roma, A Star is Born, and BlacKkKlansman, I'll start with who I want to win. What is barely highest on my 2018 list out of 181 movies? I have A Star is Born. I think A Star is Born is an incredible movie. I can't wait to watch this again, and I'm going to watch all of these movies again before I make my ranking list, and I want that movie to win, but things, how they are trending, they're not going in the favor of A Star Is Born. It has really racked up no major awards thus far, and because of that, if I had to lean one direction, I would say Roma. I think everything is leaning in the direction of Roma, from it getting a very surprising supporting actress nomination to a very surprising actress nomination, just getting nominated in so many categories. The fact that it is a Netflix film could stop it, but I don't think it will. I think it's going to trump that. I think it's going to overcome all of the challenges it's had to go through as a movie. It's looking like Roma is going to take this. Absolutely. Now that I've gotten all my predictions out of the way, let's talk about some people and some things that got snubbed. I've already mentioned it at the beginning of the video, but we can start with Timothée Chalamet. Look, you guys know my thoughts on Vice. I didn't love Vice. Honestly, I could name 30 or 40 movies better than Vice, so the fact that, one, it got nominated for Best Picture, I'm kind of like, and the fact that, two, Timothée Chalamet got snubbed because of Sam Rockwell. He was in the movie for like 10 minutes. The most impressive thing he did for me was eating a chicken leg. Listen, I love Sam Rockwell. I rooted for him. I wanted him to win in last year's Oscars, but this year, it's a new year. It's a new role, and for me, if anyone was going to get nominated from that movie in the supporting actor role, it should have been Steve Carell. He was incredible in that film, and he got more screen time. But what Chalamet did is much more impressive to me. The levels that he went to as an actor, that he had to hit, losing the weight, everything he had to do impressed me way more than Sam Rockwell did. And that's coming from a guy who loves Sam Rockwell. We've already talked about First Man, my favorite score of the year. The score, the music in that movie is, if nothing else about that film, you take the music away, it got robbed and it kills me. But the biggest thing for me, I think the biggest snub maybe of the last few years, is Won't You Be My Neighbor in the documentary category. A category full of films that really nobody, I mean, Free Solo, yes, and RGB, people talked about it, but no one talked about those films on the level of Won't You Be My Neighbor. Won't You Be My Neighbor, in my opinion, is a triumph of a documentary. It's one of the best documentaries I have ever watched. I have never watched a movie and it made me feel that strongly about a certain thing, but the fact that it made me feel Mr. Rogers is one of the greatest human beings to ever exist, I don't know how you don't nominate this movie in a category that it should win. It should win that category. It's one of the best movies of the year. I don't get it. And then another big one for me is Bradley Cooper as director. I've not seen Cold War, so I can't really judge it, but just the fact that he got snubbed, what he did with A Star Is Born was incredible for his first time. I think, in my opinion, the best thing about that movie is the directing, so why didn't he get nominated? It hurts me. Some people that I think got kind of snubbed, meaning I wanted them to get nominated, but I don't know if a lot of other people were pushing for them to get nominated. Emily Blunt from Mary Poppins Returns, I thought she was wonderful in that movie, and really, she could have been nominated for supporting actress in A Quiet Place, just saying. I don't know how this many people forgot about A Quiet Place. I know it came out earlier in the year, but so did Black Panther. I mean, I think A Quiet Place is one of those films that you are going to remember from 2018 as opposed to other movies on this Best Picture list. I don't get why people continue to forget about that. And then one that I got, so I put something out on my community page asking questions, and a lot of people, probably the majority in the comments section, said, hey, where's Aquaman and visual effects? And I have to agree with you there. I think the visual effects in Aquaman were astounding. The fact that Solo, A Star Wars Story got nominated over it. Now, the visuals in Solo, A Star Wars Story are great, but Aquaman, I mean, what James Wan did with the visuals in that movie is just incredible. And to not get nominated because of whatever reason. And then Claire Foy in First Man not getting nominated in the acting category really just kind of sat wrong with me, because she gave some incredible performances this year, not just one, multiple, so that one hurt as well. Some people that weren't getting talked about that I think deserve to be talked about. Let's start with Toni Collette. Toni Collette, there was absolutely nothing pointing towards the fact that she was going to get a nomination, and still deep down I'm like, could Toni Collette slip in there? Because she was so good in Hereditary. I rewatched Hereditary like 3 days ago, and it is one of my favorite films of 2018. I moved it way up my list. It's just phenomenal, but mostly because Toni Collette just gives the best performance, I think, of 2018. Did I say that? People like Daveed Diggs and Blind Spotting, no one's talking about him for some reason. Evan Peters and American Animals. Into the Spider-Verse, yes, it got its animation nomination, but for me, it's Best Picture quality. Why did no one talk about that? Look guys, just sitting and talking about everything really makes me want to do something. It makes me want to make a dent in the YouTube space, and I know a lot of people have award shows and they're always doing things like this, but I want to throw my hat into the ring and I want to do my own personal award show for my YouTube channel, so I'm going to work on that. And it's not just going to be, oh, Austin gets to vote and he gets to pick the winners. No, I'm going to come up with the nominations. I'm going to let you guys vote. I'm going to let you guys pick the winner on what you think the best movie of 2018, because I think that's the most important thing. I think what you guys think, what the fan space, the community believes to be the best of the best, in my eyes, in my opinion, that's the most important thing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's went long enough already. So sorry about the length, but I feel like this was very important. This was something I wanted to do. You guys are the absolute best, and I'll see you very soon.